round this corner are big piles of logs, which Nini might sort of think she doesn't like the look of. I mean, horses don't, you know, generally. They don't like piles of logs, or she may take no notice, so we'll have to see how she is. There. Oh, she's alright. She's a bit wary of them, but they always are. There's two people ahead with a dog, which is fine, but this is why I keep saying the same thing. You know, we're so lucky to have the village, because they do meet people with dogs all the time, and if we didn't have the village and only had this forest to ride in, we would never get them truly reliable with people, because they just don't see enough of them, and it can be a shock to them. Especially some of the Irish horses we work with, who, you know, are frightened of people on the ground. Actually, they really are. So unless we could take them through the village to get them desensitised to people walking towards them with dogs, I don't know how long it would take, and it would be, you know, potentially not very nice. Yeah, because they don't like that sort of thing. And most people are good, they keep their dogs on the leads, or they have them under control. Although we have met a few whose dogs have they've been awful actually. Like chasing the horses type thing. Hello. It's an interesting colour. Yeah. So a bit similar to Rosie, isn't it? Yeah. Right, come on Nini, can you walk more forward? It's a little bit hesitant. It's only natural. She's leading the whole way. That's fantastic. So there's lots of little paths which would be really good for her, and I know she won't like them to start with. But we're not going to do little paths today. We're going to keep these main tracks for our sort of introduction, and we can do little paths later. Well, it's just so beautiful. I'm really enjoying this ride on Trusted Jupiter. You're being a good boy, aren't you? There's always the opportunity when they're behind, the horse that's behind, to hear things at the back, and he still does that, but you know, he's very manageable. He just needs to be reminded that he has to just not pay it any attention. So yeah, he's very manageable. I bring him is because I know him really well, he knows me, and I trust him to do this job. You know, he's not foot perfect, but that's not the point. The point is I trust him not to sort of like mess it up and give her a fright by his behaviour. And also he needs to do a lot of this. He needs to do this company work behind. So I mean, I could have Lizzie, who's more experienced in this department, but she doesn't need any work behind. She already knows that really well, whereas he doesn't. So makes more sense to bring him. So I do need a horse that I feel I can trust, because I don't want one that's going to rush up, hear something and rush up her bottom, because then that will frighten her. And the idea is to have every ride as best we can. I mean, there's no guarantees, so you never know what you're going to meet, but as best as we can, we want to have a ride where it's all very positive for her. So when we get to the bottom of this hill, it probably doesn't look like a hill from the camera because the gradients are so bad. Well, they're not bad, but what I'm saying is they don't show up properly. Yeah, it's quite a steep hill. Jupiter's cantered down this a few times on his own, but then you get to the bottom here where there's sort of a bit of grass, and then it goes uphill. Well, that would be the place to, you know, a sort of typical place where we might introduce canter. I have another place in mind, but you know, this one would probably be okay too. It's just the path is narrower and it's easier for them to get distracted by things by the undergrowth, and when they're distracted by things in the undergrowth, they're not listening to the canter aid. Jupies, it's okay. He's sort of thinking this. He's listening out for things behind him, but he'll be alright in a minute. It's alright. He says, oh okay, if you say it's alright, it's alright. So I don't think we could have picked a better day, could we? Slight crisis of confidence for her. There. Come on, you can do it, Nini. She says, well, I don't know what's down there. She's a very good girl. Very good girl. And of course she hasn't got any thoughts in her head about rushing off as soon as her feet come off the road. No thoughts at all. And if her owner continues in the way that I know she will, she'll never look at off-road riding as an opportunity to gallop away, because that is learnt and taught behaviour, and young horses don't automatically do that, ever. They might run off because they're frightened, because they've been brought up to the forest too soon, but it's generally the way they've been ridden, and they get anticipation and they think that's what they're meant to be doing.